Hello mga boss, this is BossTL again, and this is my Duke 390. Today, we are going to do a not so technical review. Alright? Hello guys, so it was several months ago since we made our review of the Duke 200, and a number of you have requested me to do a similar review on our Duke 390. Normally I would prefer to do the review after using it for about a year para mas comprehensive yung feedback natin based on our own experiences. But then I figured, we have gained enough mileage dito sa 390 and we have been using it more frequently than we had with the Duke 200 before. So I guess it would be worthwhile to give my feedback about this bike.
Tama kayo. Ako naman eh.
I wouldn't really call this a technical review though. It would be more of a first impression kind of review, something a newbie might probably be able to relate to it if he is thinking about buying this bike. So here are my first impressions. First one, who would normally buy the KTM Duke 390? Napaka-subjective ng question, but to be honest, this really hits the spot. Kasi when I was actually really considering getting myself an expressway legal bike, and add to the fact that I am on a very tight budget, napakaraming options dyan other than the Duke 390, which are more budget friendly. You can choose a Motorstar Cafe 400, a Bristol Classic 400, a CF Moto NK 400, or even a Kawasaki Dominar.
Oh my God.
All of them are cheaper in price than the KTM Duke 390. Of course, nakakatalo din naman yan sa type of bike na napupusuan ng buyer. But as for me, one of the big considerations I had in getting the KTM Duke 390 is the pedigree attached to it.
Nararamdaman mo.
Well, even if it is known to be an Indian bike, and although now being assembled locally in the Philippines, it is still an Austrian brand, yung KTM. Well, nothing against China bikes. In fact, I was seriously considering an NK 400 before, if not for its weight. Bigat kasi. But you cannot deny the fact that brands do get some huge cookie points if you factor it into consideration. Actually, I would have preferred a more established Japanese brand such as Kawasaki Ninja 400 or a Honda CB650R, if only budget permitted. So to make it short, KTM is the most ideal option you could go for if you want a good and well-established known brand at the cheapest cost. Real talk lang naman tayo ha, ika nga, just my honest opinion. Now, you don't just go buy a bike simply because of the brand, diba?
Shut up and take my money.
You also have to factor in several considerations. Kaso napaka-subjective kasi if you talk about which style is best, iba-iba kasi tayo ng preferences. But definitely, when you start to consider a 400cc expressway legal bike, one of the things you would look out for is whether it actually looks like a big bike. And when you speak of a big bike, the first thing that comes to mind is the bulkiness, yung laki at lapad ng bike.
Wow.
The KTM Duke 390 is definitely a looker, no question about that. Head turner yan eh, ang ganda na itsura. However, once na tumabi na yan with other bikes classified as big bikes as well, it does look rather on the small side. Parang standard bike lang nga ang datingan niya when it comes to bulk when placed side by side with other big bikes. Even the Dominar, which has the same engine displacement as the Duke 390, looks bulkier than the Duke 390. Or even the NK 400, napakalaki. Pansinin mo sa mga meetups ng big bikes sa Petron Manila every Sunday morning, you will definitely observe how small the 390 would appear pag nagkahalo-halo na siya with other big bikes, diba? But the upside of that, being on a smaller side of things, it tends to be more nimble. You will actually be surprised how easy it is to ride and maneuver in city traffic. Nagulat nga ako, even if it is heavier by a bit kay Duke 200 ko dati, this bike really feels light. I could probably say that this bike is the easiest big bike to ride in Manila traffic. The power is definitely there, more than enough to even beat a similarly sized big bike in stoplights or even quick overtakes. Putang ina yan. And still able to squeeze through traffic like an underbone. So if I would be getting a big bike that I could maximize the usage in Manila and have these occasional sprints in the expressway, the Duke 390 can be at the top of your list. Other big bikes kasi tend to be really heavy and harder to maneuver in city traffic. But being light has its own disadvantages as well, especially in the expressways. Crosswinds are definitely a real thing. Kung meron nagsabi na hindi totoo yun, malamang hindi pa nila na-experience mag-drive ng motor sa expressways at high speeds.
Paano masabi?
And with this Duke 390, tinatangay talaga siya. At one time na malakas talaga yung crosswind sa NLEX, I was actually pushed sideways and shifted to the adjacent lane because of that.
Tagilan natin na. Masakit na talaga. Nakatagilid na ako dyan. Nakatigilid ako dyan.
Well, also because the bike is light, it is a bit fidgety on high speed. Medyo unstable talaga siya. Stability is not at its best compared to heavier bikes. Actually, dun lamang ang NK400 for example. So now, we go to the juicy bits, performance. Okay, let me show you specs of bikes that are of the same category and similarly priced as the Duke 390. But then again, numbers are just numbers. So translate natin yan how they actually perform in real life.
Galing ha?
The Duke 390 is a single cylinder. The advantage of this is that given both Kawasaki Z400 and Duke 390 have close weight, HP, and torque specifications, the Duke 390 would take it when it comes to acceleration. It will sprint faster than the two-cylinder Z400. Typical characteristic of a single cylinder. But then, that single cylinder will be its weakness reaching the top speed. It can only go as fast as around 160 kph. On the other hand, a Z400 being a two-cylinder can reach up to 180 kph. So lamang siya dun. The closest comparison of the Duke 390 is the Z400, which is a naked version of the Ninja 400, right? I have not really driven a Z400, but got the chance to drive a Ninja 400. And I could probably say sa bigat and handling, medyo similar siya sa Duke 390. So in expressways, malamang may similar handling characteristics yung dalawa. Meaning sa gaang, medyo unstable pag high speed, etc. The NK400 on the other hand, though may fall behind sa acceleration, but with enough momentum, it will actually overtake the Duke 390 comfortably at around 170 kph because it has two cylinders and it has better stability because of its weight. And talking about speed comes with fuel consumption. You will be surprised how frugal the fuel consumption is for the Duke 390. I was actually getting around 28 kpl driving leisurely sa NLEX and a bit of traffic. Matipid yun ha for a 400cc category bike. Pero yun yung tipong hindi ka nagbababad above 120 kph ha. As in, relax driving lang siya. Single cylinder kasi kaya matipid. Pero once nagbababad ka na above 120 kph, say, you know, around 130 kilometers per hour or higher, trying to catch up with the other big bikes of bigger displacements, konsumo mo magiging hawig na rin sa kanila. I remember when we were on our way sa Baguio and I was trying to play catch up with a Z1, the same kami ng gas consumption considering 1000cc sa kanya.
3 bar.
So with this knowledge, having your Duke 390 with you, at least you will have an idea where you will be if you drive with a pack of big bikes. Sasabay ka ba? Mauuna ka sa kanila? Or susunod na lang? By the way, with the Duke 390, ABS really works. And it actually saved me a couple of times.
Malakas po yung ganda engine.
Ingat kayo lagi when gassing up kasi madalas yung mga tagas ng langis sa mga sasakyan na nakahinto sa pump, pag nadaanan ng motor nyo yan, for sure dudulas yung gulong nyo. Happened to me several times and the ABS saved me from the spill every time.
Oh my God!
Yun ang kinagandahan ng Duke 390. Maintenance expense, is it expensive? Well, relative siya. As you know, KTM parts or aftermarket parts are really expensive.
Oh my god.
Pero yung actual maintenance itself, well, same lang with other big bikes. And here's the usual question asked. Sirain nga ba itong KTM? Well, to be honest, it is hard to say if there's some truth to it. So I did encounter an issue with my units dun sa throttle sensor niya only a month after buying the bike. But do note that my unit was one of the last 2018 units sold by KTM. So nakahinga talaga siya sa warehouse for more than a year. So that may explain it. Or maybe not. But what I would like to highlight though is that KTM BGC did work on my bike without hassle, replaced the parts immediately without much question, and that is a very good thing about KTM, the warranty. So far, the bike is running very smooth and precise. It is still considered new kasi, so not a very good basis kung sirain nga pa talaga ito. Hintayin na lang natin ang review ko after 1 year, then dun ko masasabi kung totoo nga yun o hindi, okay? So punta naman tayo sa likes and dislikes ko dito sa Duke 390. The Duke 390 has a very good aesthetic design. Very modern, very sporty. It is a naked sports bike after all. Among other naked bikes of its category, you can probably say it has the most appealing and eye-catching look. The exposed trellis frame and the orange paint scheme, the sharp headlights, the aggressively styled gas tank cover, and the very bright and colorful TFT display that beams automatically. All this screams at you to look at the bike. Mapapalingon talaga mga kasabayan mo. Totoo yan ha. So if you are the type who does not want attention, this bike may not be for you, as this bike always gets attention from onlookers. Galing, di ba? Kiska did a very good job designing this bike. Pogi points agad. And did I say the Duke 390 has the best headlights so far? Aside from the aggressive styling of the headlights, it has all LED lights that goes with the time of the day. Pag maaraw, it runs on DRL only, then switches the headlights on automatically if it senses the surrounding is dark. Very intuitive. It also has a sharp LED cut-off and a very wide row of lights. Sa city roads, napakaganda siya as you can see very clearly the roads ahead without glare to incoming traffic. Tapos you can adjust the headlight beam very easily, unlike other bikes na kailangan mo pa i-dismantle yung headlight mismo just for you to adjust the beam level. However, with all these good things about the headlight, it still needs extra lights sa expressways, especially sa stretches na wala talagang nakailaw-ilaw. Extra mini driving lights are an advantage pa rin talaga. Now, on the exhaust note, isa sa mga laging biro sa KTM Duke ay tunog lata daw. Well, with the underbelly exhaust ng Duke 200, totoo naman, medyo tunog lata talaga. But with the Duke 390, okay naman exhaust sound ng stock muffler niya. Pino naman and a little bit of bass. Konti lang. Do note, it is a single cylinder, so you cannot really expect it to sound close to an inline 4, di ba? But in expressways, I couldn't even hear my own bike. So I wanted to change my muffler nang mas maingay ng onte. However, if I do that, nagmumukhang tunog underbone kasi eh. At least from what I observe ha. Ibang-iba talaga ang tunog ng 2-cylinder sa 1-cylinder. Kaya ayun, I would rather keep it stock na lang. The other thing I don't like sa Duke are the side mirrors. Malaki masyado. Very agile and nimble nga yung motor. Hirap na masungit sa traffic dahil sa side mirrors. There are a few times na tumama na yung side mirrors ko sa kotse. Nakakaya tuloy. So I must really say ang ganda ng visibility na side mirrors niya. And they say they create a trademark look ng Duke. Pero still, malaki siya sobra for my taste. So I end up changing them. And that is another good thing with the KTM. Although KTM has very expensive parts, really expensive original ones, the good thing is there are many aftermarket parts that are readily available if you want to upgrade. Dami dyan sa Lazada and other resellers of aftermarket parts. And for the maintenance bits, nakadalian rin na maghanap ng parts if you are budget conscious. For one, since may counterpart din kasi siya na ibang motor like Rouser, etc., you will find some parts to be interchangeable. That being said, some DIY fixes are already done by some other people specializing on our KTMs like Orange Blooded Motomaniac, si iZone Racing, si Dennis Makisig, etc. etc. So shoutout nga pala to these good people. And lastly, engine heat. Actually, there are two issues when you speak of engine heat. Overheating engine and yung init ang buga na radiator. Well, overheating is mostly caused by the small radiator fan giving out. Pag bumigay ang fan, that leads to overheat of the engine. Pag traffic, I observed that the fan is almost always on. Probably iba yung init na napoproduce ng engine ng KTM, and yun nga, because of the small size of the fan, it takes longer for it to cool the engine down. So the tendency is, if the fan will keep on running all the time, it will definitely give out sooner. That is why it has a shorter lifespan. Alternative solution to this is to change the single fan to a dual fan. Makes sense naman, diba, that two fans will make it faster to cool down the radiator, so lesser time for the fans to be on, diba?
And then yung advantage nito is, once na ito ay nabusted tong isa, gumagana pa tong isa. Meron ka pang extra fan para umikot. Halimbawa, nasira to, yung area ng ating radiator, yung space or yung area, lahat-lahat ng area parang malalamig niya. Compare sa dual fan, mas mabilis niyang napapalamig yung ating yung ating radiator.
Yan actually ang bala ko when my bike is already out of warranty na. As for the hot air coming from the radiator, well, mainit talaga siya, but only when the fan is on. The engine itself, di naman siya ganun kainit eh. Only the air coming from the radiator. And it is true, mainit talaga siya, di hamak na mas mainit kaysa sa ibang bikes. Pero it is something na getting used to. Actually, naka-shorts pa nga ako minsan when I drive around with my Duke 390. So yun nga mga boss, this is what we had so far for the past 5 months this bike has been with us. Mostly good, but definitely some shortcomings as well. It is just a matter of enjoying what you have and being contented with it. Kasi sabi nga nila, you will always find shortcomings of what you have if you already have your eyes set on another one agad. Just know why you bought a bike and appreciate it for what it is. Alright? So that is all folks. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Ciao!